Alright, back with 2 tables for 5NL Zoom. And as you might be able to tell, actually you can't see the HUD. I don't know if you can see the HUD on the recording. Maybe not, but I got myself a poker tracker, so I can now track my results. Trying to get the HUD so that it looks reasonable on the table. It sort of clutters the table up a little bit more than I thought it was going to, but I need to get used to it. But certainly I think it's going to be a useful thing. I just lost the stats somewhere there on... Oh, there they are. Right. It's just getting the stuff in position so it doesn't cover players' names or cover the amount of chips they've got. Already played 300 and something hands today, up about $1 something, so nothing very significant. Get it back in. Why is that not going back a big blind? There we go. Right. Early position, ace jack offsuit will fold. The HUD doesn't seem to pop up for all players. It's a little bit weird. I really haven't worked out how to use this properly yet, but I imported some hands, about 12,000 hands, a little under. I seem to be doing okay at 5NL. I've won about $80, so that was pretty reasonable. And the HUD did come in useful early because I made a play against somebody based on their stats and it proved to be effective. So, I mean, there's a sample size of 1 hand. It's probably nothing too significant, but I can certainly see why people have these things. Very useful just to be able to look at somebody and get just a rough sense of how they might be playing. Okay, this guy here, there's only 9 hands. There's not much we can read into it. King, Queen, I usually prefer just to call when I'm in position. And I think we'll just check this one back and let him bluff off. We could let him have a little blast if he wants to, and he chooses to bet, so we will just call. And we get a pleasant looking river. And I think we can now put in a small raise with our queen, just try and get called by a 10. And I'm assuming that's what he had. I don't really think he could have had anything else. Yeah, king jack offsuit, blimey. Yeah, king high. So probably not a bloke we want to be bluffing. They're all raised a little bit smaller from the small, and you've just got somebody who's got less than 100 big blind stack. I think you can go smaller. Not going to read too much into it until we've got a good number of hands on somebody. Probably at least 100. I mean, I don't think you can know anything about somebody until you've got probably 1,000 hands, really. But I mean, I guess you can know something about somebody if they've played 100 hands and they've played like, half of them. Got a 3-bet with the king queen. A6 of spades. Not in position. In position, we're going to play tight and just fold. And we'll go with a small c-bet with the king queen with the sky stats. Oh, it's only 2 hands. I think we can ignore it. We blast again. He's going to have a lot of ace X, going to have a lot of like ace jack and things like that. They're just going to want to check call. Do we just want to just see if we can hit our jack on the river? I think that's what we're going to do. We don't hit. He immediately checks. Now it becomes much more difficult to put pressure on somebody. I think we just get called down. So I'm interested to see what they've got. Maybe this was a mistake. We could have barreled the turn. Pocket 9. So we should have done it. We should have barreled the turn. And I think that's something I need to start doing more of. 5 hands. So I've got this guy tagged. What have I done tagged as? Fish. Okay, we'll call king of hearts. And we'll raise with this. He immediately blasts out. We've got a guy behind us, so this may prove to be an unwise decision to play this hand. It's just looking worse as every moment goes. But we've got this guy tagged as a fish for a reason, so I guess we can just continue to call. And now we're just going to see if we can win. And he's got the same hand. Yeah, I don't know if I love the way I play that against players at these stakes, but because I had him tagged, I think it's okay if you've got somebody tagged to play slightly differently. But against a lot of players at these limits, that would have probably been a mistake. There we go. Okay, hands on both tables. I'm struggling to get myself sorted. Okay, king 10 here. We raise, and king deuce of diamonds in position will be a call. We do flop a flush draw. He checks. I'd expect to see him continuation bet a lot here. Was he got VPIP 23p? It's only 22 hands. He seems like he might be a little bit passive post. I'm probably a little bit too passive myself. Draw into a naked diamond draw. It's quite a large bet he's put in there. I think we're supposed to call. And we do go ahead and miss. And now we can fold. King 10 of clubs. Again, this guy's stats look pretty reasonable. And we'll just go ahead and call. Get a shitty board. Unfortunately, yet again, it's going to have to be another check fold. Our C-bet, fold C-bet stat earlier looked a bit too high. I also think like my VPIP is like 32. So that's quite high. He would definitely bet this board if he had like a pocket sevens or pocket eights kind of hand. I think if we bet small here, he's going to call with ace high. I'm kind of surprised there that he would just snap fold. I thought he would have had a lot of ace high. I was going to bet and then probably bet the river as well. So we'll play for about half an hour, maybe a little bit longer. I've already played some hands earlier, so I usually play for about 300 hands, but I forgot how many hands I started this session with. Oh, maybe 56 hands here. So once that gets to about 300, we'll call it a video. Open up the suited king on the button. Immediately get 3 bets, and we've got one hand on the guy, so we will just fold. King 6 off, even to a min raise, it's just too trashy. As is Jack 4. Straightforward 3-bet here with the ace king. We'll go for a 3-bet with the 8-9 suited. Couple of ducks, raise it up. Snap call by the big blind. I think we can bet large on this board. We're going to have a massive range advantage against him. If he calls, we can then really bet big on the turn. use the button here. I'm setting a c-bet and an ace-high board. Get called, flop top 2. We'll go for just a third pot. Get raised, interesting. The only hand we're really worried about is pocket 5s. So we are going to go for the 26, 3-bet 26. He's quite aggressive, this guy. He calls. We don't like that turn card. So did he have a lot of spades? If he had ace-5, he had a lot of hands, I think he might actually just put them in on the flop. Really hate that card. I'm going to check it. Oh god, I hate this. I'm going to have to call though, I think, because if he had a hand like ace-5 or ace-deuce or ace-4, would he play it this way? I think we're up against like a king-high flush a lot. I've got to check all here with the jacks, but I don't think we can do anything other than just call it off. Queen 10, okay. Wasn't expecting that. There I am waffling away. I'm not even really mentioning potential bluffs, so our fairly feeble check back on the turn there. One of some chips. I think against this particular guy here with jacks, we are going to call once more. And I don't expect him to bet hands like ace-queen and king-queen on this river. That's interesting. That is interesting. It's not a very big bet. He's firing a lot. He needs exactly a 10. What 10s does he really have? Queen 10, king 10. I think we may just have to play this off. I'll pocket out. He better set. I didn't think he would do that. That's a good bet by him, and probably just a crappy call by us. Say us. When I say us, I mean myself. Just going to pause just for a moment here. And I'm back. I just had to let the cat out. So with those jacks, I think I might have almost lost a bit of concentration because I was focusing on the other table. So that was, I don't think that was a particularly good play by me. Probably could have just got away from it on the turn. But I think he actually turned the 8, didn't he? So we check all the flop where we were good and he turned the set. But I think it was a good bet by him on the river. We could have even considered, I suppose, check raising all in and turning the jacks into a bluff. 2 overs, backdoor hearts to a very small c-bet. I think we can call. It's not a c-bet though, is it? I think we raised okay. I think here we're going to have to go for a bluff. If he had a 9, I'm sure he would have bet the turn himself. Yeah. Where's my thinking? Right, Queen under diamonds. I've got this guy Jekyll labelled as a fish. I don't think he actually is a fish. I think he might just be kind of loose and aggressive, more so than lots of players who are very, very nitty. And raise up Queen 9, get a sort of an okay flop. I think we're just going to go for a check call and go with the ace deuce. Now I think we can go for just a little small bet. Do we need to? Yeah, I think we will. We can get called by worse. And now I think I just want to check and see what he does. Immediately pots it. Checks back the flop. I'm always in my mind wanting to call. I'm having to talk myself, but this hand looks really, really bluffy. $5-9. Yeah, it was right. It was full of complete shit, and then he gets totally ridiculously lucky and real. 5-9. Okay, so I don't know if you when you do stuff like that, I don't know if you qualify it as a misread or what, because there's no real way of putting somebody on a hand like 5-9 to call to raise pre. Against somebody on a small stack, I think we'll just go for a half pot C bet and give up to any resistance. Immediately get a min raise. So annoying when you get stuff like this, but his stats look very tight. Over 80, not many hands, 85 hands, but he does look very tight, so we would give it up. When I get used to this thing properly, I will also have the auto top up, I think, on, rather than, you know, having this playing with 70 big blinds or something. I just want to get a little bit more comfortable with what I'm doing. Keeping track of what I'm winning and losing. His 3-bet was only 14 hands. I think the 70, we are very deep. It's quite a large 3-bet. He's going to be so nutted. I think we're going to call and see if we can flop a 7. We don't, and unfortunately that's just going to be the end of the hand. We'll check back on Jack on the left. And I think we go for a small bet. Well, we called to try and hit 7 on the right, didn't, and so we'll just give it up. Ace is a bit weak. 6-7, it's not a very big 3-bet. The other guy also cold calls. We're in position, so we kind of like a full stack play this type of hand, but we will call. And we flop a flush. It's not obviously it's not a good flush, but hey, a flush is a flush. And the question is whether we want to raise. I think we do want to raise with a small flush. We'll make it small. And he immediately folds. Could we just call there? Obviously the danger of just calling is another spade peels off, and then we actually don't have a particularly strong hand, so I think probably the small flushes you do want to be raising. He fired into 2 people, so I'm sort of surprised he didn't even think about it. I thought a common hand he would have there would be, you know, a big spade that probably would have gone with it. But maybe we could be a little bit braver and just call. 7-9 of hearts closing the action. Fairly straightforward. And I think on this, with everybody checking away, I think I'm going to go for a bet. Ambitious, I know, when you're betting into that many people. But if everyone's acting like they're allergic to the flop, have a go. Whoops. Okay, the first real premium pair we've had. We have jacks, which managed to misplay horribly and lose with. Never mind. Okay, pocket tens. In the small. Raise it up. Starting to see some familiar faces. This guy, Strashilst, something. See him quite frequently. There's only 34 hands we have on this guy who's raised on right, but he does have very tight stats. So, and we wouldn't usually be 3-betting this hand anyway. We just want to call it in the big blind. And check. On these spots you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble. I think we just have a pretty straightforward check call. Right, when he checks back the turn really quickly, I don't think he has a better hand than this very often. So I think we can now bet. I think he's got quite a lot of king, queen, maybe weaker aces. I think we'll just go for a half pot value. I think that's fine. Just a running 2-pair. Why not? Why not indeed? Where's my table gone? Table seems to have disappeared there. And slightly loose open under the gun with 7-6 of diamonds. And we finally get to playing our hand. And we're going to bet on this board. It's a pretty decent board for the raiser. We'll go for a large c-bet, I think, on this board. I don't think he's going to fold too much that he calls a flop with. He's clearly not going to fold a king or a 10. I'll go ahead and check it. Now clubs get there too. Now I don't think he checks back a king on the turn. He might check back clubs, he might check back a 10. I just don't think we're going to get him to fold much unless we go massive, so we're just going to give up. I was expecting him to have, like, yeah. If the river hadn't been a club, I'd have considered betting. Okay, and then a couple of small pocket pairs. He really does love to play the guy Jekyll, 86, and 3's here in position. Straightforward call. Nice, we can flop a little 3 out there. And we do. An interesting board. He donks into 2 players. I think then we flop a boat over here. My goodness. And I think we want to go ahead and raise this. When he fires into 2 people, like, this is going to be a strong hand a lot. He calls. Well, we're all in. If he's got pocket kings, there's nothing we can do about it. He's got jacks. We'll resume. And we'll hold. And we've got a boat over here. It's possible he could, of course, have a better boat, but if he does, he does. Clearly, we're hoping that he's just got the flush. What are his stats like? Reasonably aggressive. We'll go for quite a large raise. If he has like 8-7, it just absolutely sucks, but he did not. We'll go for a small c-bet on the right. And I think we'll just check it back, hope we get to a showdown. Don't think we're good very often. The guy's stats are extremely passive. Never raises, but he does call a lot, so we'll just give it up. Pocket 3s, how we can turn the set. So a couple of really nice hands there. One with the pocket 3s against Jekyll, who seemed to probably overplay his jacks a little. Uh, 10-6 offsuit against a small raise, in position against the guy's quite tight, so I think we will call this. King Jack on the button for a min raise. We'll go ahead and play in position on 10-6 off. That may have been a little adventurous. We'll go ahead and just put that in the bin and pretend it never happened. And King Jack here, we're going to float in position. I think he's going to have a lot of hands that don't really want to continue here, so we're just going to bet. We're going to bet a little over half pot. A lot of hands he's got here will not love this. We could easily have a 10, we could have a flush, probably have more than he does. We get cool. We get a nice river that we can probably actually just check this one back now. I don't think we can necessarily get called by a lot worse. And he has ace 3, okay, so we get a bit of luck. 2 overs and a gutter on the right against a very, very active player. I'm quite happy just to take the free one. And, now I think we can just bet for value. A7 of diamonds, raise it up, get called by both the blinds, get a okay flop. I think we can call in position here. It's obviously not ideal because we don't have that many ways we can improve, but I don't think we can fold just one bet. Now he can have a flush, but he can also have hands like Jack 10 that really wouldn't like that card. When he does blast at it though, now we're just going to let it go. Don't want to start trying to turn that into a bluff. Getting a lot of pocket 4s at the moment, and had some success with them a moment ago, flopping the full house. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. I was hoping the guy had turned the flush on the 4-8-8, but either he didn't, or he just knew I had a boat when I raised. I'm assuming it's probably that he just didn't have it. We're raising hands here. Can we get called by the guy in the big blind? He's got, this is the same bloke I just said before, had very active stats. We get a dreadful board that we're going to be checking back a lot, and this is no exception. And for one big blind on the right, we're going to call. And I think we can just give up with the King Jack. It's just hits him, his range way more than me. 2 big blinds. I mean, we've got the bottom end of the straight draw. We've got another guy behind who could raise, so I'm just going to fold, hang around, see if we can find out what they've got. Actually had another comment on one of my videos the other day. Somebody asked me where this background came from. As far as I know, it's just, this is the background that's just up there without you doing anything, I think. This guy under the gun on the left has some slightly odd stats. There's not many hands. Plays a lot of hands, very rarely raises, so make of that what you will. We'll go for a flat in position with the ace-king. We'll get a nice board, and I think we'll just go ahead and bet quite large. We fold it, okay. So I think perhaps as a sort of a new HUD user, I'm looking at these stats, I'm forgetting at times that there's so few hands on people that really doesn't mean too much. I think we'll just go with a small c-bet with the ace-king. Get called. And we'll check it with the ace-queen. And we'll check with the ace-king too with the intention of check calling a lot of bets. And I think we can check call this. Not totally convinced he's always going to bet a 6 here, so we'll check, and we'll check the river as well. And we'll call here with ace-queen. Getting a little bit of bother here. Is he really going to bet a 6? Has he been lucky enough just to float the flop and then catch a queen? We'll fold both. We'll be a good boy. We won't blast too many chips off with just ace high. And standard ISO with ace queen. Get called by the big blind and the initial limper. I think we can go for a smallish c-bet here. This is okay. It's a very dry looking board. Three bet the ace king. Get called, get a not particularly good looking flop. Fold to c-bet 60% this guy, so we can bet ace king with the king of clubs. We do like that result. That's always nice, isn't it? When you raise it up with ace king, you flop nothing. You go, I never flop a hand with ace king. You know, you go through all that kind of crap, but then you fire out a c-bet, and for a change, people just go away. Lovely stuff. Ace three of hearts. We'll actually go for a call with ace three of hearts on the button, then we'll go for a call with ace four of spades and the big blind. Okay, we'll check this across. And we'll go for a bet here. I think that when he checks to my right, he has none of this. Guy in the big blind can have some of it. He's the one I'm more worried about. And ace four, let's go for a check call. Picking up a nice turn. Picking up an ugly river. And I think we just go for a little block bet and then fold to a raise. Such a bad river. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. He just never does this without a queen, does he? Look at the price we're getting. For this price, I guess we just... But I mean, it's just going to be a queen, isn't it? Queen jack, yeah. Annoying. But probably three big blinds I could have saved myself because, as I say, I just knew it was a queen. Okay, we get three bets and get four bets, and now I guess we can fold. I was going to four bet myself, but we'll just get out of the way. Yeah, that guy immediately folds, so I think I'll four bet with ace queen. Ace queen is a hand I really do like. Four bet is the four bet bluffing hand. We'll raise it up with the king eight. Fives on the button. I think we can go for a call here. Really bad board. I'm not going to float with it. I'm just going to give it up. It's been a reasonably active session. Had plenty of decent cards. Ace king called in two spots. Don't flop a pair. We'll go for a small c-bet. Even into two people, we'll go for a small c-bet. Get called. Now I think we can probably just go ahead and check it. Don't see there's too much reason to bet. We can still have the best hand. And we're just hoping he has a hand like ace four or ace five. Just something like that. Never going to, no point betting, I don't think. It's queen six, okay, so yeah, the missed flush draw. Could have gone either way here with the 9. We'll go for a check call, I think, against this guy. I'm expecting the other guy to get out of the way most of the time. She does. I guess we got no, just not a great card because he can obviously have a 7. And now we're just going to check, and if he's got any sort of silly bluffs in him, we're going to let him just bluff off. And we obviously have to go. I'm not quite sure what he's got. 9-8. Okay, so he's got the same hand. She's limping the button with 9-8. That's slightly odd play. It's about another 50 hands we'll play. Sevens, as usual. I do prefer just to call and take a flop. Not really the flop we love. I think We can call once. That's a card I wouldn't expect him to bet on. Now I'm going to fold. This guy is hyper aggressive actually, but it's not over a big sample. Could go for a bluff there because I think we're going to have more sixes than he is. When the middle card pairs in that type of situation, it's usually pretty good for the person who called. And we'll go ahead and call King 10 of Hearts on the button. And for a min raised King 8, I think we'll call. When he checks here, I think he's going to have an awful lot of just 2 big cards, so we'll go and bet. He immediately calls. I think maybe he'll need a bit more. Is this just blasting off? Maybe. We'll go for one more bet. Get called again. We're going to go for one more, because I do think he has quite a lot of just 2 big cards with 1 diamond in them. Might need a little bit of persuasion, so we're going to have to just go for another bet. And it does work, so there you go. I don't know if it shows in the video, but my tables at the moment are sort of flying around. For some reason there's something wrong with my mouse, so the tables keep getting bigger and smaller. Raise it up with ace 10. Get the gutter and the backdoor diamonds, and a board that's really gonna favour us over him. Queen 8 of clubs, and a board that draw. We're going to be c-betting this board with a whole range. Just looking to see how long this video is getting. It's going to be over 40 minutes, so it's getting a bit long. But we'll go for that 300 hand total that we like. I always assume by this stage of videos that I'm probably just talking to myself. that this thing is people have long since stopped watching. Ace 8 off, I think is an okay hand to defend against a smallish raise on the button, and we get a pretty decent looking board. We get the nut flush draw. Could go either way here. I think that a raise would be fine, and I think that's what we are going to do. Just about 25 more hands or so. I might make it just 20 hands to prevent the video getting excessively long. Raise it up. We'll go for a slightly loose open and cut off with 5-7 of diamonds. And we get punished, which is exactly what we deserve for opening such trash. King 6 of diamonds, we'll just let it go. Right, so we'll make it, well, we've got about, 13 more hands to go. Got a hand here, the queens, but it doesn't look like anybody want to play. Fives. I'll go for a call here. Wouldn't always mix this up a bit. I'm wishing we hadn't now because we don't flop a 5, but we'll have a little stab, see if anybody's just interested or not in this pot. Now we're probably just dribbling chips away. Get called in both spots. Now we're going to be done with the hand. Small chance we have the best hand, but very, very small. And we make a baby flush on the river, and it's good. How about that? Nice. All right, we'll sit out next big blind. That'll do it for this video. We get 3-bet here, and we'll probably just fold. This guy has not 3-bet once in 52 hands. And I'll just sit out here and just see if we can see what people have. I'm assuming if he hasn't 3-bet once in 52 hands, this is going to be quite strong. But obviously not that strong. So just waiting until we're in the big blind. Okay, we're in the big blind, and that's the end of the session. And what's the scores on the doors? So on the table, we've got $16.81, meaning we're up $6.81. So a reasonable session. Thanks very much for watching. If anybody still is, I appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.